Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Parissa if you're new here, and today's video is all about 5 different flower types beginning with the letter B, part of the A to Z flower series. I have also made a letter A flower facts video, so check that out too if you like this video, and without further ado, let's get started with this video. The first flower that I'm going to be discussing is called baby's breath, also known as gypsophila, and the meaning of this is purity, trust, sincerity. The colours of this flower is white, which symbolises spirituality and unity. It comes in blue, which symbolises respect and honesty, and orange, which represents joy and optimism, as well as red, which represents romance and love. The blooming period for baby's breath is that it grows yearly in the summer, and it grows best in the sun, and there are also perennial varieties that bloom all year round. And in terms of medicine, the baby's breath contains saponin molecules, which can boost the efficiency of anti-cancer drugs by 1 million times, and this is because of the immunotoxins that can attack cancer cells more easily by breaking down the cancer cell membranes. The genus has 35 species. They are part of a group of annual and perennial plants, and they will generally grow from 15 to 90 centimetres. They are grown as a medicinal ingredient, and some species' roots are edible. Some species are an invasive weed, and they can cause itching, so you should wear gloves when you handle baby's breath. How do you grow baby's breath? So what you should do is you should use seeds or cuttings, and you can use a tray and spread the seeds or cuttings and use lightweight growing medium and sprinkle a layer of soil over the seeds, and then you should put a plastic over the tray and place in a warm location. The thing to keep in mind is that it can be time consuming to maintain, but if you are going to grow baby's breath, then you should use fertiliser, but make sure that you don't use too much, and also cut them back during midsummer to encourage new flowers to bloom from late spring till autumn. Next, I'm going to be discussing the balloon flower, and there are multiple different names for this flower. One of those is Platycodon grandiflorus, and another name is the Chinese bellflower, and that's because the balloon flower resembles Chinese lanterns and hot air balloons before they open. And the meaning of this flower is friendship, honesty, and endless love. The colours that the balloon flower comes in are blue, white, and pink, and the blooming time for this flower is summer. And now I'm just going to be discussing some interesting facts. So the balloon flower requires low maintenance. That's very good if you want to have a flower that doesn't take much time. And also the flower attracts birds. So if you don't like birds, then I wouldn't recommend growing this flower. And now I'm going to discuss medicine use. So it's used for digestive uses, antibacterial and antitussive uses. And how do you actually grow the balloon flower? So what you should do is, first of all, you shouldn't expect that they'll grow after the first year of planting the seeds, but what you should do is sow the seeds in winter, and you can also use a stratification process and use well-drained soil, and the flowers will grow best in slightly acidic soil. You can use coffee grounds to increase the acidity slightly, and just keep in mind that the balloon flowers will grow best if the soil has the correct moisture, and if you make sure that you add the right amount of water. The next flower I'm going to be discussing is Blackeyed Susan, and I actually think this is a really cool name for this plant because of the centre of the flower, and the meaning of this is encouragement and motivation. The colours that this flower comes in is yellow, orange, deep red and pink, and even some sunset shades. The blooming period is between June to September. Some interesting facts about Blackeyed Susan is they are tolerant of many different conditions. They are actually the official state flower of Maryland in the USA, and some species of fungi can grow in the flower roots, and Rudbeckia is the genus name, and that was named in honour of the botanist Olaf Rudbeck Jr., and also it is one of the most popular wildflowers grown. Blackeyed Susan is used in medicine, specifically for herbal medicine, and there's actually something called Blackeyed Susan tea, which can treat colds, and you can also have something called Blackeyed Susan root juice that can be used for earaches. And how do you grow Blackeyed Susan. So because they grow between March and May, they need to grow in temperatures that are at least 21 degrees, and you can use plant seeds and you should plant those in well-drained soil, but also make sure that the soil is moist and ensure that the soil is loosely on top of the seeds for optimal growth, and water regularly just because you don't want them to dry out, and make sure that you cut the flowers down in late summer so that they will grow again in autumn. The fourth flower that I'm going to be discussing is my favourite flower of this video, and that is called Bleeding Heart flower, also known as Decentra. So the meaning of this is deep emotion, and is a perfect gift to give someone that's important to you, who you have unconditional love for and compassion towards. It has a meaning of a beyond life and death connection. The colours of Bleeding Heart is yellow, pink, white and red. The time that the bleeding heart grows is spring, but it will also grow in cool areas in summer. And some interesting facts that I found was that the bleeding heart belongs to the poppy family Papaveraceae, also known as lady in a bath. They are herbaceous perennials, and they're all parts of the plant are poisonous if they are eaten or touched. And in medicine, bleeding heart essence is said to strengthen all emotions relating to love and help with soothing the emotions to bring the love spirit back into life. How do you grow the bleeding heart flower? So you should plant it in organic soil in a shady area, and you must keep the soil moist consistently by regularly watering, and you should plant it in autumn or spring in an area with compost. And when it begins to wither, when it goes a yellow colour, you should cut it back to the ground, and you should make sure that you don't remove the flower plant before this happens, because it stores food reserves for the next year. You should aim to regularly fertilise the flower using time-release plant food. The last flower that I'm going to be talking about is Bluebell. The meaning of this is faithful, everlasting love, and it is a girl's name with an English origin. The colours of this flower is pale blue, grey and lilac. Personally, I've only ever seen pale blue and lilac. I've never seen grey bluebell. Perhaps it's more rare, I don't actually know. The blooming period for the bluebell is between mid-March to May, and they bloom in grassland and woodland areas. Some interesting facts that I think are interesting is that it's an iconic flower for the UK, because over half of the population of bluebells are grown in the UK, and they are protected under the 1981 Wildlife and Countryside Act. Bluebell seeds can be spread by ants, meaning if you live near a bluebell wood, the flowers could end up in your garden. And the bluebell is on the logo for the Botanical Society for Britain and Ireland. So in terms of the medicinal use of the bluebell, there are particular extracts that contain water-soluble alkaloids which can be used to treat cancer and HIV. Bluebell bulbs are used in folk medicine as a leukorrhea remedy, I think that's how you pronounce it, and it can also be used as a styptic, which can stop bleeding of a wound, and a diuretic, and the sap can also be used as an adhesive. So how do you grow the bluebell? So you should plant the bulbs 10 centimetres deep and 10 centimetres apart, and point the tip upwards, and for a natural effect, plant the bluebell clumps together, and ensure that you water the bulbs regularly. Don't get rid of cut foliage, as the plant will use sunlight to make food for strengthening the plant for the next year. And remember to remove the heads after flowering, because this will stop unwanted bluebell spreading. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you would like to learn about other flower types, be sure to watch other videos from the A to Z Flower Facts series, which are all ordered, and I will create a playlist once all the videos have been made. Please comment, like and subscribe. Bye!